You alright? Little chunks in that water. Serious business. Am I gonna start with you doing that?
I'm waiting for you to do it so I get it right.
Alright. Hey everyone, welcome to Metagame, our James and Adam's magic talk show where we go over results. James is playing with his water, getting it all over my table. Nice.
That would breach the reg a little bit.
Yeah, you're a little overzealous there. Nice. Yeah, alright.
So magic.
So yeah, we're gonna go over some results past couple weekends. The big tournaments to note are the Invitational from Star City Games, GP Strasbourg, which was Legacy, and then the regular opens that happened each weekend. So we'll start it off with the Invitational, which is one of my favorite tournaments. So it's fun to watch.
Yeah. So how often does it happen?
Formats.
How many months?
I think it's 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
The way it works.
Okay. Yep. Big deal. $10,000.
Yeah, it's a big tournament. You got to qualify by either through an actual qualifier, through an IQ, or top 8 or top 4, or win an open. Can't remember what the.
I want to say it's top 8, just to get people.
Yeah. I think it's top 8. An actual open, and then you go to the Invitational, and it's always 2 formats at once. They alternate back and forth. It's generally Legacy and
Standard.
Standard right now.
They might be trying something
Modern
else
could
later.
be thrown in there eventually. They're going to start running some opens with Modern and Sealed actually coming up in the end of the year. So Invitational, an extra long tournament too. Like it's an extra day. It's Friday as well.
Yep, it's a two-day thing. It's ends up being 16 or 19 rounds of Magic.
Yeah, it's a long tournament.
Yep.
So won by everybody's favorite, Jerry Thompson.
Woo!
He's on a roll right now in terms of Pro Tour top 8, followed by winning the Invitational.
Yep.
So
the top 8 was Legacy.
Yeah, top 8 was Legacy. And he basically played decks he's been playing. Like he didn't change anything really. He's just played decks that he knows, and is doing well with them. I think it's a good lesson to learn that you don't always have to audible to the hot deck or a deck you might think will be good. If you're not 100% on that, just play a deck you know.
Yep.
Play a deck you're familiar with.
If you can correctly predict the metagame.
Yeah.
And you know what deck to play, then practice that deck and get good with that deck. But if you don't have the time and you can just play a deck that you're very comfortable with, that you know how to play in and out, that you know all the matchups,
right?
Chances are you can do better with something that you know.
You're just going to do better with it. It's a no-brainer. Every time I've done the best in my tournaments, it's a deck I play regularly, it's a deck I'm familiar with, and it's a deck I've practiced a lot. And anytime I try to predict the metagame and oh, this is going to be good right now, and I've got no reps with the deck, it's always just awful. I play slow. Doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So he won with that. He played Flash in Standard and then Shardless Bug in Legacy.
Yeah, everyone thought it was a crazy deck to play for that tournament.
Yeah, nobody else played that. Everybody's that deck's dead, it stinks, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and Jerry just took it home.
He just crushed people with it all weekend.
Oh, the finals match was
it was a joke.
He just destroyed it. Well, I mean, Shaheen only drew 1 land, 1 game.
Yeah. It was kind of a joke game, unfortunately, but. So going to Shaheen, that guy also just basically shows up in top 8s every.
Yeah, he's top 8 almost every Invitational, and always with Esper. He played Esper in Standard and Legacy, and
that's all he ever plays.
Dominated with both of them. I know he's my idol.
Yeah,
I need a poster of him in my
room. Control. So at the same time they run Open that weekend on the same site. So there's a Standard and Legacy like normal, and the Standard was won by a Reanimator again.
Yep. Corey McDuffie with Reanimator.
Yeah, so not much to say. That's pretty top 2 decks were actually Reanimator. It was a mirror match for the finals.
Exciting.
Yeah. Which actually is kind of interesting match to play out. But it comes down to a little bit of luck, but also knowing what to cast when and all that. And then the Legacy was won by Goblins, which is a deck we haven't seen in a while.
With the man with the funniest name in all of Magic.
Yeah, Max Teets.
Max Teets.
So good player, been around for a while.
So I don't know if he's local or not, huh?
Yeah, I think he is, but I gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
I see him around all the time, so I feel like he is.
Yeah, very good player. Very good player.
Seems like he's always at every tournament. Every big open I go to, he's there. So.
Yeah, and he won with Goblins, the Legacy tournament.
Yeah, which I think is a good deck right now. People are on Sneak and Show's really popular right now, and Stoneblade's really popular right now. And Goblin seems pretty well matched up against that because it's just like super land destruction, mana denial.
Right.
And those decks like need mana, even though like Sneaky Show doesn't need a lot of mana.
Right.
It needs
its
some.
mana. Yeah. By far the most successful like mono any color deck. Like mono red Goblins is like an extremely strong like control deck. It is a control deck.
Yeah, it is.
Like you play it slow. Like you don't just like kill them in one hit. I mean, you do with a pile driver sometimes, but you know, you take it slow. You kill them with 1/1s and 2/2s and all that kind of stuff, and you just like play the denial package, like you said, and you just grind out a good game and win with card advantage.
Yeah. So that was that weekend of 4-6, and the next weekend was the GP Legacy format. And that was won by Death and Taxes, which is another Legacy deck. Speaking of Legacy, we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
But this was like a really cool top 8. It was like all these like decks we haven't seen in a while for Legacy.
Yeah, it's like the other half of the format. Like, all right, here's all the decks that usually win, and here's the decks that haven't won in a long time, all top 8 at the same time. We had like 2 Death and Taxes decks, a Maverick deck, a Merfolk deck. It was really, really weird.
So fun top 8 and some innovative like choices within their decks too, which I thought was pretty good.
I never knew these decks played 4 like Phyrexian Revokers.
That's one of the things I think was interesting. I don't think they usually do.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen more of those matches played out because I would like to know any names most of the time.
Yeah, and a Fiend Hunter. I'd imagine a lot of the times they play like named Jace.
Yeah, Jace, like Sneak Attack seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, so then the SCG Open for that weekend was...
Where was that weekend?
The weekend... Not sure what that...
Milwaukee?
Yeah, Milwaukee.
Yep.
So this was a notable top 8 because no Reanimator at all in the top 8.
Yeah.
Actually, almost not the top 16. The first Reanimator was 15th place. So it's like a huge change from like every other tournament we've seen for the past, 2 months?
On the flip side, it was Jund infested.
Yeah, a ton of Jund, which I like. One of my favorites.
Yeah, I think it's a very good deck.
And that's ended up winning. Jund won. Very standard list, the one that won. And then the Legacy for that weekend was won by Adam Jansen with Sneak and Show, which is, a deck we've seen a lot. A deck that's very powerful. It does really broken things.
Right.
And can win just right away.
But once again, we have a black-white deck in the top 8, as well as a Merfolk deck.
Yeah, I think people are trying stuff again, like Dead Guy Ale.
Yeah. Very interesting. I'm a Merfolk player. I've played Merfolk for quite a long time. So I'm very happy to see it getting a little bit of steam again. And the deck's not bad. It's just like every other Legacy deck has its times in the metagame and some times where it doesn't.
Yeah. It actually seems alright right now, just because it has that Wasteland plan as well as
it's really standstill.
Good threats and standstill.
It's really standstill. Standstill's playing a lot of weight in that deck in the metagame right now.
Yeah, let you play a few guys and then just hide behind it.
Right.
The other thing to note was Act 2 was a deck that came out, piloted mainly by Brad Nelson. It's one of his babies. So it's an Aristocrats deck that's been updated.
Right.
Kind of more 4 of everything else. There's less 1 of and 2 of. It's more like a consistent deck. So it's winning more with the High Priest and Blood Artist and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do like the High Priests.
So he's been playing that recently. He's had good success. He top rated an Open and then won a Classic with it. So.
Yeah, I think the deck's going to stick around. I feel like everyone who was playing Aristocrats is just going to update to Nelson's list. Because, it's showing results.
Yeah, it's better. It's definitely better. It doesn't have this weird problem of, being a humans deck in a, vampire deck in a tokens deck. It's not, it's streamlined. And then we go to the next weekend, and we're back to Reanimator. So we almost kicked it out for a week, and then it's back again.
We've been saying this for a few weeks now. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, the deck is awesome.
It's turning into a pillar of the format.
It's one of the decks you show up to, and you have to beat.
Right. You're going to play it at least once in a day long with Magic. You can play this once, if not twice.
And you can almost guarantee it'll be 1 in the top 8 at least.
Yeah, definitely. So it won this weekend in Seattle.
Yeah, and that one had a few, I think, in the top 8. Was this 3 total in the top 8, along with a couple Jund again?
Yes. Funny though, there's another junk deck that top aided in tokens.
Yeah, it's
deck?
a very tokens heavy deck. I think it's like Relentless. Yeah, even had Midnight Haunting.
Sorens.
Yeah.
4 Virtues. I think this is interesting.
Yeah, Geist Honor Monk, which is a card we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah. I think that is like a lot of potential.
I do think that deck loses very badly to Thundermaw Hellkite though.
Yeah, I mean, if something like this ever becomes popular, Thundermaw Hellkite comes back, you know.
No, I'm playing.
Comes back with a thunder. I'm trying to make a pun there, can't do it.
No, failed.
I'm sorry.
Epic fail.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hairbands.
So the last deck, one of the last decks to talk about was Hive Mind. Won the Legacy portion of that Open, and continuing our trend of Legacy decks that are coming back.
Yeah, Maverick at number 2.
Yeah.
And then Merfolk again.
Yeah.
And even more interesting, Bant.
Yeah, the Bant deck is like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Which it's essentially a Maverick deck, but splash blue.
This is like 3 years old.
Yeah, we haven't seen this in a long time. So like Click, Hierarch, and what's the other blue card? Oh yeah, Force of Will and Brainstorm.
Jace.
Is it Jace's?
Yeah, it's Jace's. Yeah. The only thing this doesn't have is Natural Order. Like, if it had Natural Order, this would literally be like a 3-year-old deck.
Right.
Yeah.
Nope. That was checking the sideboard. Nope, not the sideboard.
Nothing. Yeah, I'm really excited. I always thought Bant was pretty awesome.
So I'm very excited to play Legacy again because I can play Maverick and not feel stupid.
You might have to update it a little bit. But
Yeah. It's a few card change, but...
Yeah. And then Joel Lassette, top 8'd again. This guy's got like, how many top 8s now?
Yeah, he just shows up and wins.
Yeah.
Just countertop again.
Yep. And those the WMCQs.
Yeah, so that was the around the world at a few locations was the World Cup qualifiers, where you represent your country, and that was run by Joe Spencer with Prime Speaker Bant, which is not my favorite deck at all.
Nope, I'm not a fan. But he won, so
it must be good because he went through a top 8 with like Reed Duke and like super good guys. Like the deck obviously is good,
right?
But I mean, I guess if it's like the concept is if Sphinx's Revelation is like one of the best cards, just play more Sphinx's Revelation
and Prime Speakers again.
Yeah, so you get both.
Yeah,
you just draw your entire deck, but I don't know. Seems like the deck just loses to Supreme Verdict every time. But
yeah. In other news in Magic: The Gathering world.
Yeah, so like the full spoilers out for Dragon's Maze. So with that, they released the updated rules text and the updated like banned and restricted list.
Yep.
So the good news is, Eggs isn't a deck anymore.
Adam and I are pretty like split on this news. He thinks it's fantastic. I think it's pretty poor news.
It's fantastic.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of the deck.
I don't know. I'm second guessing. I think
I never played the deck. I never wanted to play the deck. I just don't think the deck was a prey on the format at all. Like I told you, it was a convenience ban. Like it's just games are going long, so they banned the card.
Yeah, but I don't think that's initially a bad thing. If you're holding up an entire tournament of 800 people because you're playing a stupid deck, like,
well, that's not your fault.
Like
that's not your fault. People just need to learn how to play against Eggs better because there's a lot of points in the game where you just have lost, and just because the guy hasn't killed you yet doesn't mean you're going to come back from it.
Yeah, but you can't concede up until a certain point because it doesn't have 100% like go off rate. Like
right, yeah, there's like 1 in 1,000 chances that it fizzles.
Yeah.
And like you can either wait for that or realize that wow, he has like a 1% chance to fizzle. I'm just gonna scoop so we can go to game 2.
Yeah, but what if it's game 3 though?
Well, I mean,
if it's game 3, have to play it out.
I mean, I guess,
then you do extra turns, and
but
then
like,
his turns take 15 minutes.
There's always people that go to turns every tournament.
I totally understand, but usually turns is like a few minutes. Where like this is like, oh my turn takes 15 minutes, and I get 3 turns.
I don't know. I just don't think they should have banned it. I think the deck could have easily been hated out. It's not
That's the
difficult
problem.
to play
Like
against.
people weren't hating it out. Like it would go to these like big premier events, like the Pro Tours and stuff like that, where most of the bigger modern tournaments are. And
I just like bannings that actually help the format, not like total convenience bans. Like, we don't feel like dealing with these games that go too long.
Well, I think it's slightly helping the format thing because if one of the problems with that format is like the tournaments aren't run efficiently and like the tournaments aren't run smoothly because they're interrupted all the time by this deck, then why not help the format by banning this deck essentially?
I don't know.
Like Second Sunrise is the card obviously we're talking about. Like
yeah, Second Sunrise.
It still has faith reward, so like it still could be a deck. It just doesn't have that redundancy it needs to be like really good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not happy with this banning.
Whatever. I'm fine. I'm so happy that I don't have to play that stupid deck anymore.
I know. You like how many times did you play against that deck?
Like way too many. Like 2 times is too many.
I played against the deck like 3 or 4 times, and I never was upset that I played against it.
I hate playing solitaire decks. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, I don't want to play solitaire. I play Magic to be like interactive and have like a game, not like sit there and be like, oh, am I dead yet? Because you're taking like 5 years for your turn, and like you're not even doing anything. You're just like drawing your deck and da da da.
Yeah, but if they're drawing their deck, you're gonna lose because they're gonna hit their piece that they need and kill you.
Yeah.
Other news: Regrowth was unrestricted.
Yeah, unrestricted in Vintage, which I don't know how relevant it's going to be because Vintage is like a weird format.
Neither of us are really big Vintage players.
Yeah, it's a pretty big investment to get into Vintage.
Yeah, to me it sounds like unrestricting anything Vintage is pretty good. So, like,
yeah,
this might be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not.
It might not be good enough anymore. That's the problem with Vintage. Like, the decks are so consistent and are so busted that it might not even need more than 1 regrowth.
Right, yeah, the decks that played regrowth anyway, like, were fine with 1. Yeah. So, I don't know if they really need a second.
Yeah, if they do, they'll probably go to 2. Like, it's not...
Yeah, it would just go to 2. But, I mean, there's other, like, functional reprints that are, like, almost there, too, right?
Very close to regrowth, yeah.
Yeah, well...
They're like a mana more, or they have, like, some kind of clause on it, but...
Yep.
So the other notable thing, or the last thing would be, so Dragon's Maze will be out soon.
Right.
Pre-releases this weekend.
Right.
So for us, in terms of content, we have our video set review coming up.
Yes.
We have a special edition of this program dedicated just to sleeves because everybody keeps asking us what kind of sleeves we use and, you know, what kind are the best.
We'll be doing sleeve reviews of the ones that we use and other ones that we consider, you know, sleeves.
Consider good. Yeah.
What's out there on the market.
So that'll be upcoming soon as well.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
I think that wraps it up for this episode of Metagame.
All right. Thanks. Enjoy some bubbles. Hey, you didn't get on the table. Congratulations.
Look, no hands.
Bye.